Who am I to say there is no God? When logic meets faith, my name is James. I'm a grateful recovering addict and alcoholic. I'm no expert, I'm no guru, but I'd like to believe that I can help you on your journey to sobriety. Welcome to Soberdelic James Addiction Recovery live stream every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. How are you doing, friend? Fellow wanderer, fellow sober seeker, you may be like me in the first 4 decades of my life and apply logic when it comes to the subject of spirituality, of God. Well, 20 years ago, I heard a man in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, speak at a meeting of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. And he said, you cannot do this thing without God. This thing was recovery. At the time, I was too smart. I was too logical. And I mean that in a negative way. Well, let's talk about when logic meets faith and thereabouts. I recently have been able to work the third step of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is gave my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. Well, I finally came to understand God after praying for the willingness to believe in God, and for the logic of who am I to say there is no God? To believe that all the religious people that I've met, all of the spiritual people that I've met, all of the recovering addicts and alcoholics that I've met that believe in God were wrong is illogical. How you doing, Mercury girl? Mercury girl, how's it going? I'm extremely grateful to have arrived at this point, and it was seemingly none of my doing. There's a saying in Alcoholics Anonymous, it takes what it takes. I've come to discover that this is true, unfortunate as it may be. So don't be proud of me, Mercury girl. I'm just a drunk trying to get along. More will be revealed on this journey to me, which I'm grateful for as well, because I hope how to focus this camera is going to be revealed to me, along with some other things in life. I don't hope, I have faith that it will. There's another saying, don't quit until the miracle happens. Mercury girl, thank you. Cooking and listening, hope you are happy you are here. Like a little meeting. Well, you're gonna like this one. It's becoming more and more AA based. I'm going to read the Alcoholics Anonymous Daily Reflection, and then I'm going to share my experience with finding faith in a God of my understanding. What in the world? I gotta have faith that this camera's gonna do its job, but whatever. Most people just listen to me anyway. What you cooking, Mercury girl? Hopefully you're cooking up some faith. Faith, man. So when logic meets faith, logic is a funny thing, isn't it? Logic kept me from the sunlight of the Spirit of God, and logic led me to it in the end. It wasn't me. It was AA that did it all. It's important for you to know that. Because willpower doesn't do it. With addiction and alcoholism, both the same, willpower just doesn't do it. Black and blue cheeseburgers and salads with thick bacon Good God. I got faith in that. Oh man, I got faith in that. Oh, I love me some blue cheese. And burgers. Good God, and salads. But I digress. If you'll take a suggestion and download the Everything AA app, I guarantee you'll be happy with it. From it, I'm going to read today's daily reflection for those who haven't heard it yet. Today is May 14th, and today's daily reflection is entitled, It's Okay to Be Me. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. They have not turned to easier methods. They have turned to easier methods, but had not learned through enough humility. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 72 and 73. Humility sounds so much like humiliation, but it really is the ability to look at myself and honestly accept what I find. I no longer need to be the smartest or the dumbest or any other ist. Finally, it is okay to be me. It is easier for me to accept myself if I share my whole life. If I cannot share in meetings, then I had better have a sponsor, someone with whom I can share those certain facts that could lead me back to a drunk or to death. I need to take all the steps. I need the fifth step to learn true humility. Easier methods do not work. That is the daily reflection. You can find that every day in the community tab of this page, Soberdelic James. It's in the tabs can be toggled through where it says videos and playlists and shorts and stuff like that. It also says community. This is from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, where all knowledge comes from. It is also said that more will be revealed, and God is the ultimate authority. So even the big book doesn't claim to know it all. To each of us, God will lead us. Now, when I say God, if you're anything like me, you may shy away from that subject and that word, especially if you're, well, I can't make fun of Catholics, but because I don't know. Hey, Kelly Murray, Mercury Girl, how y'all doing? Are you cooking too, Kelly? How's things? I'm going to post something right now. I'm going to post a link. It is a link to join the membership of my channel. It would help a great deal to help carry the message. That's all I'll say about that. The link is coming at you right now. Only because Kelly Murray and Mercury Girl, I'm not sure that I have floated this idea to you yet. There it is. Now, I'm doing well, Kelly. How are you? Logic is a funny thing, isn't it? We think we know, and then a month later, we think we know something else, logically. This isn't a program of intelligence. Recovery intelligence will get you so far in life and in recovery. Intelligence will also got me drunk half the time. Believe it or not. Stop me if I'm wrong. What up, Tom Sock? How goes it, bud? Gail, how are you doing? Today's daily reflection, which I just read, it's also on my community tab, speaks of humility. The word humility sounds so much like humiliation, they say. Something that I've thought before is if we don't choose to become humble, alcohol will humiliate us. Stop me if I'm wrong. We've all been humiliated by alcohol. We're powerless over alcohol. That is the first step to understand complete powerlessness. is the first step. And now I can finally be myself. That's the daily reflection for you. And the myself I chose to be before I learned that I need to hand my will and my life over to a higher power than myself. I can't run the show. I really, really, really need to stop using my opinions like they're the be-all, end-all. Using my decisions based on my opinions. Basing my actions on my decisions and opinions. To think that my opinions are the be-all, end-all and then act on that is dangerous. Some people have opinions that killing people is okay. Then they act on it. That's dangerous. My opinions, being an alcoholic that has a disease of the mind, body, and spirit, my mind will lead me through my own will and my own decisions to a drink, and drink will lead to trouble or death. Stop me if I'm wrong about this, about myself and you. That's powerlessness. Step 2 is come to believe in a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. This was AA for me. Logic dictated that hundreds upon thousands of people have used Alcoholics Anonymous to get and stay sober and also remain happy, joyous, and free in their lives. Logic dictated that. So before I believed in God, I believed in Alcoholics Anonymous. Step 3 was the step that over damn near 2 decades that I've been trying to lick this thing, alcoholism, and achieve happiness, joy, and freedom. Step 3 was the one that I kind of didn't really take all of what they said about God literally. Step 3 is hand my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand him. The God of my understanding isn't a him and is not a she. It is an it. I personally come to believe that we all need our own understanding of God. God is so vast that he can handle it. It can handle it. She can handle it. But my understanding of God, although it might help you understand God, doesn't have to be, probably won't be, and maybe even shouldn't be yours. The words come to believe are suggested first, became willing in another step, realized, admitted, acknowledged, accepted. These are all interpersonal actions. Faith, I was thinking about at the meeting I just got back from. Faith, God, it is what we believe God is. We know right from wrong because we have our own conceptions and understandings. But this all aside, what happened to me there's also a saying, don't quit until you get it. Don't stop coming to meetings until you get it. Don't stop studying Alcoholics Anonymous until you get it. Don't leave until the miracle happens. Don't even leave after the miracle happens. Don't quit until the miracle happens. Don't quit. I don't even think that's the same, because you shouldn't quit even after it happens. All right. You'll have to excuse me, it's super hot. I gotta turn on my AC. Now on page 56 of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, in the chapter called We Agnostics, Bill W., the writer of the book and the steps, and one of the co-founders of the 12-step program of Alcoholics Anonymous, was an atheist. In the 1933, 34, and 35, he had a spiritual awakening through a spiritual experience after which he never drank again and went on to help a world and a century of alcoholics. On page 56, there's a story. Again, I'm going to read it through the Everything AA app, which has all AA literature in it. This chapter is called We Agnostics, page 44 through 57. On page 56, there's a story. This story, I don't know if I've read it before. I must have, because like I said at the beginning of this stream, my experience only 6 months ago was, who am I to say that there is no God? Who am I to even question? What do I have to make up that decision? And this story is very similar, and it reads like this. Our friend was a minister's son. He attended church school, where he became rebellious at what he thought an overdose of religious education. For years thereafter, he was dogged by trouble and frustration. Business failure, insanity, fatal illness, suicide. These calamities in his immediate family embittered and depressed him. Post-war delusionment, even more serious alcoholism, impending mental and physical collapse brought him to the point of self-destruction. One night, when confined in a hospital, he was approached by an alcoholic who had known a spiritual experience. Our friend's gorge rose as he bitterly cried out, "If there is a God, he certainly hasn't done anything for me." But later, alone in his room, he asked himself this question: is it possible that all the religious people I have known are wrong? While pondering the answer, he felt as though he lived in hell. Then, like a thunderbolt, a great thought came. It crowded all else. Who are you to say there is no God? This man recounts that he tumbled out of his bed to his knees, in a few seconds was overwhelmed by a conviction of the presence of God. It poured over through him with the certainty and majesty of a great tide at flood. The barriers he had built through the years were swept away. He stood in the presence of infinite power and love. He had stepped from bridge to shore. For the first time, he lived in the conscious companionship with his Creator. So that's a story in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous that was read today at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, a place where all alcoholics belong. That was read today, and I was like, wait a second. That happened to me 6 months ago, and this has been the greatest 6 months of my life. The question that struck me was, who am I to decide there is no God? Who am I to even question it? And it was a leap of faith, the third step of Alcoholics Anonymous. Turn my will, my thinking, my opinions, my decisions over to the care of God as I understood it. And things have been dandy ever since. And this is a true story, and I'm here to spread the message. There is a chapter, that reading was from the chapter We Agnostics. The word God scares a lot of people away from good God. Even James Brown believed in God. I mean, shit. Am I to say James Brown was wrong? Thank you, Sean in 99 for your subscription. For all of you who would like to join the channel membership, help support me carrying the message, you too will get a James Brown if you do it during the stream. I posted the link and pinned it at the top of the chat box. Sean, What up? Thank you, Sean. I'm sure you already know there is a membership you can join if you'd like to support the message. And frankly, I'm sick of pushing it, so let's move on. So I began, that day I had laid my trust and my will over to the care of God, and then I neglect trusting my own mind. My own mind is sick. You might be like, what are you talking about, man? An alcoholic has a sick mind and a sick bodily allergy to alcohol. The mind leads you to the first drink, and the first drink creates the phenomenon of craving that leads to endless drinks and consequences. Cunning. Before you drink, it's cunning. After you drink, it's baffling. And the whole time, it's powerful. Cunning, baffling, and powerful. Stop me if I'm wrong. You don't think you're going to drink 1 minute. The next minute, you have drank, and you're baffled. So it was suggested to Bill in 1934 by a psychologist, I believe he was a psychologist, that the alcoholic has to have a spiritual awakening, a spiritual experience that leads to a spiritual awakening. And that is why they call it a gift of desperation in the rooms. G-O-D, gift of desperation. When I was desperate enough, logically, I noticed that my own ideas, as good as they might sound for the past 40 years, are very trivial and subjective. Whose ideas were working? Alcoholics Anonymous. What idea did they have? Turn your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand Him. So I did. My life changed. I'm not saying that this could have happened 20 years ago when I first started on my recovery quest. And I'm not saying more will be revealed. I don't claim to know everything, and but what I have realized I'd like to share. Well. And trust me, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, 7 years ago, 1 year ago, 15 years ago, if you asked me about God, I would give you all of my brilliant ideas on why the Bible is wrong and churchgoers are believe in, I don't know how this didn't occur to me before, but how can I even think that my own ideas are the smartest? My own ideas get me drunk, jails, institution, and death. Where was I going? My ideas were taking me to the brink of insanity and death. Thank God, thank AA for letting me realize that my ideas, man, I'm human. We're faulty, whether we like to admit it or not. And I literally think there is all the power in the universe in admitting that we are not in charge, in admitting that we are not the be-all, end-all of all knowledge and all logic. Man and woman have egos. Our egos would like to explain everything. This is the way I see it. Why? Who knows? The ego is part of who we are. It's God-given. The only problem with the alcoholic, myself, and a lot of people that aren't even addicts and alcoholics, is the ego has become inflated and frankly starts running the show. The ego runs the show. The ego is fragile because it needs superficial things to sustain its life. Whistle. I'm getting a whistle in my voice. But I couldn't believe it today. What brought me to a meeting? I need to go to meetings. Meetings are my medicine as an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous meetings are my medicine. Alcohol was my perceived medicine. I can't drink alcohol, and I think we all know why the alcoholic can't drink alcohol, because the consequences become greater than the benefits. Sure, alcohol feels good at first. Sure, it makes me a great dancer. Or at least my best ideas suggest it does. You ever seen a dancer out there that thinks he's a great dancer? He may be wrong. According to the powers of the universe. So in short, I've let go of my ideas. I've let go of my will. And this isn't a chore. It's a practice that when I remember to practice it, which is more frequently these days, I become less and less anxious, less and less tense, less and less worried, less depressed. Because when I look at my past, when that egotistical voice says in my mind, you should have got this a long time ago, you wasted so much of your life. Now I know it's in God's hands. It's on God's time. It's not, I don't run time. I don't run life. I'm not in charge of when I get it. Hey, Michael, how's it going? How you been, brother? You hanging in there? Talking about God, talking about faith, and talking about how silly it is to believe our own thoughts about things when they are trivial, subjective, and probably only sometimes anywhere near correct. Even the smartest men on earth, the smartest women on earth, the greatest thing they know is that they don't know it all. The greatest thing to happen to my recovery from alcoholism is that I don't know shit. My greatest ideas got me jails, institutions, and death over and over and over again. That's where logic meets faith. The logic of it is my greatest thinking got me drunk. I might as well have faith that the people of Alcoholics Anonymous know what they're talking about. It was a total leap of faith that immediately started paying off. And by immediately, I meant my mood. I now believe somewhat, and more will be revealed. I now believe that the words, the kingdom of heaven, might be the feeling you get when you surrender your will to God. I'm already in heaven. I'm already in the kingdom of heaven. I already know God, and I am already in the kingdom of heaven, because if you've ever felt anxiety and you've ever felt depression, being completely relieved of those two things immediately is like heaven. I mean, that's the closest thing to heaven I've felt. And then in Bibles and scriptures and in the big book, turning our will over to the care of God, believing, asking God, and in the Bible it says in so many words, be still and know that I am God, and you will experience the kingdom of heaven. You will, that is my understanding of God, and that's enough for me. Your understanding is what you shall find. I only hope to help you find it. It doesn't have to be my definition. It doesn't have to. I don't even know if it should be. But I do know it took what it took for me to get to this place, and this is the most heavenly place I've ever been in my approaching 50 years on planet Earth. So I'm not moving. I am not moving on this. I am not moving. It's like I arrived in the realm of the spirit, and I am on heaven on earth. When I've been to hell on earth, we all have been to hell on earth through our own will and our own. Have you noticed this? I think, you know what I mean? Our best thinking gets us hell on earth. What? You know what I mean? My best thinking got me this camera, and it doesn't even know how to focus on me. If I would have just gave my will to God instead of, cruising the Amazon, thinking you know what I mean? What up, Brunson? Ego is a bitch. EGO, ego. Easing God out. The more ego you have, the less God you have. The further you are from the sunlight of the Spirit. And, hey, I got no problem talking about the sunlight of the Spirit and the kingdom of heaven anymore. Because I know it's all... what up, Holly Ford? I just understand it. I know I don't completely understand it. More will be revealed. It says it in the book. All I'm saying is, I could say I wish I took the words of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, every single word, literally, earlier, but I don't, because I now understand that it takes what it takes, and we get it when we get it. Don't stop recovering until you get it. They say, don't stop going to meetings until the miracle happens. Right now, you may have never been to an AA meeting. You may never see yourself going. We don't know what tomorrow brings. I'm hoping that I can bridge the gap to a lot of my listeners and viewers that struggle with alcoholism, addiction. I'm hoping I can bridge the gap, dissolve the fears of the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, because 100 years ago, Bill W. wrote words that if you read every single one of them and understand them, you will have happiness, joyous, and freedom. If you understand and take action upon them. Keep seeking, Spicy Peaches says. Damn straight. What's up, Tramiel? Good evening. How goes it to everyone? Have faith. Don't have great ideas. Have faith in the ideas that have worked for thousands upon millions upon gazillions of people of history. Have faith that I'm not the all-knowing. I never have been, so why would I listen to my own ideas? I don't know why. It was because I don't know. I am extremely grateful to know now that I'm not running the show. I can relax. If God is the director of this Hollywood movie, I'm just the guy pushing a broom and setting up the snack table for the actors and directors and writers, and I'm not the director. I'm not the writer. I don't have to be. I don't have to pretend to be. I don't even have to aspire to be. And that's relaxing. How you doing, Miss Ford? How's things? Did you do what you needed to do today? And by that I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Now I sound all shady, like you have to get rid of a dead body or something. I just don't want to blow up your spot, but I think you know what I'm talking about. We all have regimens that keep us healthy every day. whether it's, taking our medicine or burying dead bodies. Of course, burying dead bodies doesn't keep us healthy unless you're the gravedigger. Driving. Where are you driving to? Did you get inspired by Kempton last night on the stream and decide to become a truck driver? Did you get to hear the daily reflection that I read? If anyone's interested in the daily reflection, it's either I read it at the beginning of the stream or in my community tab on my channel. The community tab can be navigated to by scrolling left and right on the tabs at the top of the page that say videos, playlists, shorts, community tab, stuff like that. Michael's dreaming about revenge. I can tell you right now, it's not you, it's your ego dreaming about revenge. When seeking revenge, it's best to dig 2 graves. That's another valuable thing in logic, is that these sayings, these cliches that people have said over the annals of time, like the one I just said, when seeking revenge, it's best to dig 2 graves. Think about what that means, because it's been said so often over time that it's become a saying. Anything that's become a saying, like, I don't know, diet and exercise, eat your vegetables. These are things people know so hard that they just keep on lasting the test of time. I have learned, if not this year, very recently, that slogans, sayings, cliche things like keep coming back, don't leave until the miracle happens, stay. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Guess what's in my refrigerator anytime you come to my house? Apples. In case you couldn't guess that. And what is that? That is having faith that even though my best ideas will have me eating chocolate chip cookies by the box, my best idea says, you might be one that says, life is short, eat chocolate chip cookies. You know what I mean? Do you hear doctors and people through time saying that? No, that's our best idea. Sure, chocolate chip cookies are good for morale. Logic dictates this. But what has everyone always said forever? Eat your vegetables, fruits and vegetables, diet and exercise. So here comes a little thought in my brilliant mind, and my ego says, life is short, eat chocolate chip cookies and die. Sure, yeah, it sounds like rock and roll and shit. But then you die. Because you got congested heart failure and diabetes. You know what I mean? And sure, ice cream for breakfast is a good idea sometimes. But we all know right from wrong. And if we eat ice cream for breakfast every day, somebody stop me if I'm wrong by saying that is not a good idea. My point is, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous has everything you need to know and do to be happy, joyous, and free in life and sober from alcohol. Like, alcohol is the last of my worries these days. The obsession to drink has been relieved. And not just to drink, I'm talking about the further and further I get along towards the spiritually fit, the more and more addictive behaviors disappear. The more and more negative things that will keep me further from God and more in my ego, like revenge. Remember that story, Michael? I don't know if you were here when I had a Karen in my neighborhood that wouldn't give me my pool key to the pool. because for years and years we've been arch enemies, just nemesis. And I was gonna mess her up, man. I was gonna ruin her reputation, and was well on my way to doing so. But it was keeping me miserable. It was keeping me in a feeling of like disgusting mud. And when I got my pool key and I was planning on ruining her, something came over me, and it was AA and it was God to say, you know what? I'm sorry about what I said. And I said that to her, and she and that instant she said, I'm sorry too. We hugged, and I'm not going to say her name, but I introduced her to because of our union, because of God's guidance in me not seeking revenge, but seeking kindness and love. She now knows about Al-Anon, a 12-step program to deal with family members and friends and loved ones that are alcoholics. This particular woman was hopeless over her alcoholic son who had shot up their house inside, pulled out a gun and started shooting one Christmas. Now, because of God's guidance, doing the next right thing, and my willingness to give my greatest ideas, which was revenge, over to the care of God, which says love and kindness is our code. I now helped her. I see her in the grocery store now. She gives me a hug. She is just, and I am happy. That instant that I let go of my idea to seek revenge, that vengeful, spiteful resentment I had towards her was relieved. I was free. I was free from myself. And that's what I'm talking about, where logic meets fear. If you are anything like me, you like logic, you like evidence. And faith, where logic meets faith, is when you realize that your best dependence on evidence for the truth, your best logic has been leading you down alleyways of revenge, alleyways of acceptance by the wrong superficial crowds, away from God, away from AA meetings where you need to be. You know what I mean? All my life I've had ideas of what was my goals and values, and I have turned those ideas over to God's will. I now every day ask that I be granted the knowledge of God's will and the power to carry that out. And that to me is the next right thing. The next right thing wasn't ruining this lady's reputation in the neighborhood and just crushing her life. You know, that was making me miserable as too. Michael, if you're seeking revenge, go ahead and dig 2 graves. That to me now means I was already laying in my grave of desperation, sadness, anxiety, frustration, resentment, just ugly, ugly stuff. I wasn't happy. I wasn't joyous, joyful, and I wasn't free. Karma is another word for trusting in God. Trust in God that we will all get what we deserve. And to hope, don't even hope they will get what they deserve. Hope that they get what you have always wanted for yourself. When you resent somebody, when you really want to get somebody, ask God that they get all the good things that you want in life, and that they get what they would deserve. Now, when Bill said this, pray for them to get what they deserve, he was an alcoholic, Bill W. He might have been a super intelligent writer and an awesome dude, started AA, wrote the steps, named 100 most important and influential people by Time magazine, named the healer of people. But he'll tell you, he used to tell people, I'm just a drunk trying to get along. I'm no saint. And he was. He was faulty like all humans. and had a sickness of the mind like all alcoholics and all the other humans too, but alcoholism especially, sickness of the mind and spirit and the body. For resentment, pray 21 days for that person to have what you wish for yourself. It works, Michigan Swatch Company says. Michigan Swatch Company. Thank you. That was exactly what I was trying to say. Thank you for saying it so eloquently. GE and I like that statement. Spiritually fit. Never heard it put that way before. Interesting. GE. General Electric and you? Spiritually fit. Yeah, spiritually fit. Then there's also spiritually bankrupt, which is anybody that's drunk. Something dawned on me the other day. I got a ton of stories of me being drunk. Some funny, some incredibly embarrassing and humiliating. But God, you've never heard a story about God getting drunk? Have you? If you ask for God's will, do you think the next thought that's going to come into your head is, God wants me to get drunk? You know, if you say yes, you know you're lying to yourself. And the first principle of the first step is honesty. Is G.E. James. Good evening. Is G.E. James. G.E.? S.J. Soberdelic James. By the way, Michigan, Bonnie, Mercury Girl, Michigan Swatch Company, I pinned a link to join the channel, help support the message being carried by yours truly, and soon to be Kempton Brown. It's all in God's will, and it's all in God's time. But some people say, smarter people than me say, God puts people in your lives for a reason. I have my own brilliant ideas that say that can't be true and that's not how God works. But again, who am I to say? What do I know? The greatest question you can ask yourself with honesty is, in my opinion, what do I know? Sure, I know a little, maybe I know a lot. I don't know it all, and I don't even know that I know a lot. I used to think one thing, and that didn't turn out to be true. Stop me if I'm wrong, but we are proven wrong through time as we live. Stop me if I'm wrong, you know what I mean? Just look at an old picture of yourself and be like, what the hell was I wearing? I was wrong for that. Look at an older picture of yourself and be like, what was I thinking? You were thinking your best thoughts. That's what you were thinking. You know what I mean? That's a logical answer to a conundrum right there. When I watch these streams years from now, when I'm, God has me wherever I am, if I'm lucky enough to be alive to watch these streams years from now, I'll be saying, what was I thinking with that camera? It doesn't even know how to focus. What up, Mike Tucker? God will do things at times, kind of like he's tapping you on the shoulder. Right on. Oh, Virgos. Chore Bunny, we would like to see your fish tank. Okay. Oh, that's why. Oh, see what I mean? God knows you guys want to see my fish tank and not every detail and pore on my face. That's why he gave me a camera that doesn't focus on my face. It focuses on my fish tank. Thank you for saying that, Chore Bunny. Now I know. You know what I mean? I didn't know that a second ago. I thought I knew best. I thought, I thought the best thing in life was if a camera would focus on my ugly face. What was I thinking? People want to see my the pores of my face before they want to see my fish tank? What was I thinking? God was with me during my last drunk, Mike Tucker says. If that's what God is telling you, then it's absolutely true. If that's the faith you have, then that's absolutely true. If it keeps you sober, it's absolutely true. Do you know what I mean, man? I don't claim to be the expert or the guru of sobriety or God or anything. I do believe that I do believe and hope that something I say will lead you on your journey to finding your truth and finding your faith. And I also know for myself, and it seems to me for every alcoholic, we cannot do it without a God of our understanding. Step 3. I also know that every word of the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous should be read and taken literally and acted upon. If I knew that 20 years ago, well, I wouldn't have this channel. So if I think I should have knew it 100 years ago or 20 years, if I think I should, that would have been better. It might not even be true. All in God's time. Good, bad, you know what I mean? I can talk about my understanding of God. Some people say, if God exists, why do bad things happen? Well, in my understanding, which isn't the be-all, end-all, but it's the way I understand things right now, when something bad is happening to me, something good is happening elsewhere. Also, bad is just my opinion of it. If I thought, I wish I never had alcoholism, I wouldn't be here talking to you today, and there might be someone in this chat that hears something today that saves the rest of their life from addiction. So, to think if I wasn't an alcoholic, I wouldn't have gotten to that person. So, these bad things that we think are happening, even cancer, even death, even horrible things that are incomprehensibly bad, there's, it's a mysterious way. It's God's plan. Who am I to decide whether something's bad or good? Am I the ultimate judge of the world? I'm just a single soul. I'm a single spirit. I have some blessings. I have some curses. Everybody does. You know what I'm saying? Bad things can be blessings in disguise. That's what I'm talking about, Bonnie. Thank you guys for putting words to my sporadic thoughts and pointing out that you might not necessarily want to check out my ingrown hair on my neck in HD, detail, and focus. You might want to look at my fish tank. So that might be why God is focusing on my fish tank right now. Because years from now, I'll be looking and I'll be like, thank God it wasn't focusing on my ingrown hair on my neck. You know what I mean? But here I was trying to get it to focus the entire time because I thought it was, the greatest thing in the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to run the show and I'm like, focus, focus, focus. This is what I think is the best. No, turns out my viewers turn in to my channel. They tune in to look at the fish tank. So what? You know what I mean? And here I am trying to get the fish tank out of focus and my ugly ingrown hair on my neck in focus. What was I thinking? That's where logic meets faith. When you decide to have faith in God's plan, like Drake. No wonder I like that song, God's Plan, even before I had a conception of God. You know what I mean? You got to let the ego go, Nail in Your Coffin says. You got to let the ego go. And trust in God. Now, ego has its purpose. Everything that is built up in us has its purpose. Ego, sexual desires. We'll talk about what the book says about those tomorrow, maybe. But they're all God-given. Now, if I use my sex powers for my own selfish desires and play with and fondle a person like it's an object without considering that they're a human being, I'm not using God's given sex powers in the way of good. You know what I'm saying? If I do a stream where I do a manly, Channing Tatum dance for the good of sobriety everywhere, then I'm using my sex powers for good, perhaps. Chore Bunny, Bonnie likes fish tanks. I have buried parents, Mercury says, and friends, and gotten married, and I've done lots of things in sobriety. Right on, Mercury girl. I hope that black and blue burger, and I hope it treats you well tonight. Chore Bunny, God wants us to reach our full potential. We have to meet him halfway and place a value on ourselves. We are deserving and worth it. This is Chore Bunny's understanding of God, and it works for her. Mercury girl, in sobriety she finds God, its purpose. Tinfoil hat alien. When we began to do that, we received the gift of faith, and a faith with which works. I have a feeling Tinfoil Hat is reading from the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous or some AA literature, which is like, I swear to God, it's the Bible for alcoholics. People have their Bibles. Hopefully it's not the anarchist cookbook, because you might be going the wrong direction. That's just my opinion. Ask your God. I'm not the authority. The news is surely not the authority. Authority. And we all know right from wrong and what works. And that's where logic meets faith. In this recovering alcoholic's humble opinion. Tinfoil hat alien, thank you for your membership. As you noticed, your first month of membership gets you one badge, which is the SJ symbol, as a token of my appreciation. Your second month you'll have a different one, which is a moving meme. If you join on the third tier, you get access to a whole new catalog of Soberdelic James content that nobody gets access to, and I'm not talking about OnlyFans. So don't get excited and don't get disgusted. I know you could get either one of those probably. Michigan Swatch Company says Joe Hawk, rest in peace, originally from Battle Creek, Michigan, with the Pacific Group in California and Golden Slippers Group in Colorado. Has some awesome recordings on YouTube, including a very popular Big Book series. Oh, are you talking about Joe and Charlie? Oh no. Wait. I don't think either of them are still alive, but yeah, rest in peace, Joe and Charlie, I think. Or I just listened to my first Joe and Charlie recording literally in the shower before this stream. So are you talking about Joe Hawk? Is Joe and Charlie Joe Hawk? Check them out. Joe H. Joe Hawk. Step 2, page 30, Tinfoil Hat says. Step 2, page 30. The app, Everything AA. Look it up and download it right now. Don't think, just do it. Use faith, don't use your mind. You said page 30, huh? More about alcoholism. Most of us have been unwilling to admit we were real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. The idea somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. Oh, you're talking about 12 and 12? I got that on the Everything AA app too. All it takes is one click, 2 clicks, 1 click. Here it is. Page 30. Another crowd of AAers say, "We were plumb disgusted with religion and all its works. The Bible, we said, was full of nonsense. We could cite it chapter and verse, and we couldn't see the beatitudes for bigots. In spots, its morality was impossibly good, in others it seemed impossibly bad. But it was the morality of the religionists themselves that got us down. We gloated over the hypocrisy, bigotry, and crushing self-righteousness that clung to so many believers, even in their Sunday best. How we loved to shout the damaging fact that millions of the good men of religion were still killing one another off in the name of God. This all meant, of course, that we had substituted negative for positive thinking. After we came to AA, we had to recognize that this trait had been an ego-feeding proposition. In belaboring the sins of some religious people, we could feel superior to all of them." Hey, Mo A. Yeah. Just a reminder, you too can get a James Brown if you subscribe and hit that notification bell, and or you can get one by super chatting to help me pay my internet bill, or joining also to help me pay my internet bill, feed my dogs, and carry on this happy road to destiny. That's the inspiration of our Rule 62 meeting Tuesday at 8 p.m. Rule 62, do you know what that is, right, Michigan? Rule 62 of Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't take yourself too seriously. I saw Rule 62 on the license plate of a brand new Corvette, and by brand new I mean 2023, 2024, the mid-engine Ferrari-looking joint. This thing parked in the handicap spot at an AA meeting said Rule 62. Here I was judging this individual for driving a $100,000 brand new mid-engine Corvette into a handicap spot. What do I know? I don't know anything about him. These are just like my best ideas and judgments. This is called prejudice. Contempt prior to investigation is ignorance and prejudice. I'm not sure where Rule 62 comes from. Like I said, I'm not the expert. I'm not the guru. More will be revealed, but they really are awesome looking cars, Shades. I love them. My dad says they're too gaudy. But that's just his opinion. You know, to argue over opinions is, what is that? It's ridiculous, number one. To argue over opinions, to just yell and shove my opinion down your throat. I've learned just to pass it along. Whoever doesn't want to listen to it, they can change the channel if they're watching YouTube, or, you know, give me your best opinion. And, you know, it's not my fault that I grew up trying to argue my own opinions, but I will argue them to the gates of insanity and death, because I'm an alcoholic. My opinions, my resentments, my greatest, you know what I'm saying? I just gave them all to God. I do it every day. I wish I could give it to God and then I'd just be a better person for the rest of my life. That would be more efficient. That'd be like the Best Buy version of becoming a better person. But we have to practice these principles in all of our affairs daily. Take a daily reprieve and ask, God, please don't let me think for myself. Let me do your will, please. I want to know the right thing and how to be a better person. Please don't let me argue with someone in the middle of traffic because I think that their driving is worse than mine. And this isn't going to make us perfect. It's progress, not perfection. Principles before personalities. AA is great. They took all this into account. They knew we were perfectionists, all or nothing. Bill W. knew our faults. So he put in words like, we are not saints. We practice principles before personalities and progress, not perfection. Hey, Christy. How's it going? Hey, I recognize your face. Thanks for commenting on my videos and coming into chat and chatting. For those of you onlookers that are looking on and wondering how you too can chat, try hitting the chat box or typing in. I don't expect everyone to know. In fact, I don't even know how you guys are doing this chat thing, to be honest. Rule 62 comes from a story of a huge recovery center that was built and fell. Just heard the reading of it, but can't remember origin. I'll find it and share this weekend. Yeah, if anybody wants to look it up, I'm gonna let my dogs in because last night I let them in the rain by accident. Be right back. Matter of fact, because I'm going to more meetings, more and more wonderful things are happening in my life. A meeting this Sunday that I don't normally go to, the man next to me handed a chip to me, and on the front it said Rule 62. And he said, here, keep it. And we both talked about the meeting. And he said, Rule 63 is don't take anything I say too seriously. And I'm like, and he's like, I just made that one up. Rule 62, don't take yourself too seriously. It'll save your life. Don't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive, man. One thing I've heard and said before, but have to practice living by. Michigan Swatch Company, thanks for stopping by. She says, Michigan Swatch Company says, everyone have a great evening. Nice meeting here after tonight. In-personal meeting. Peace and bless. Fist of power, praying symbol, and a heart. Right on, man. Hey, emojis are showing up on the... Hey, everybody go crazy with some emojis. If you're a member... I think second tier member, you get access to custom emojis. Let me see some of them. Holly, are you a second tier? Somebody put a custom emoji. I have Flea. I put a custom emoji up for members of my channel. If you want to join, click the join button. It's posted at the top of the chat. It's a join link, but you get access to a Flea emoji. Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers is featured in my members' emoji selections. And when I put that on the emoji list, that night I had a dream. Ironically, me and Flea were smoking a doobie the size of my arm. But it wasn't a bad dream, you know. Drinking dreams, drug-using dreams. My sponsor says, well, I don't know if he says it, but I've heard sponsors say, if you have a drinking dream, just enjoy it. It's a freebie. So me and Flea smoked that big fat doob the size of my arm in my dream, and I didn't feel any which way about it. I personally think, with my limited knowledge of the subject, that dreams are our subconscious working something difficult out. Giving up weed was difficult for me. And giving up booze is difficult for the alcoholic. I'm not sure how Michigan Swatch Company got those emojis to show up. It must be, you must be on your phone. Everybody else is just what if you type in two dots, stay home, two dots? I wonder if it'll show up then. Michigan, are you still out there? Maybe you can advise us on how you got those sweet emojis up. Hey, Mercury Girl, it happened too. How'd you do that? Hey, Christy, you guys got some emojis out. Is there any members out there that have the custom emojis that can put a flea picture up there? Ah, Hillary May in the house. What up, Hillary? Oh, she let us all know. She let us all know what her preferences. How is this happening? How are some emojis? So I think I figured it out. Mercury Girl, Hillary, Christy, you guys are on your phone, correct? Oh, here we go, Spicy Peaches. Oh, come on. I can see it in the Flea. Flea is the picture of that emoji. Spicy Peaches, you see that other emoji? Flea is the basis for the band Red Hot Chili Peppers. Matthew, how to help someone who is nonchalant about their drinking. Only the alcoholic can diagnose themselves, but I try to help people that are nonchalant about their drinking every day on here. What was suggested to Bill W., the founder of AA, is that he talked to the person about you. You talk about your experience as an alcoholic. Matthew, someone who's unreachable. Bill W. was pulling people out of bars when he had a spiritual awakening back in the 30s and found out that helping other alcoholics keeps him sober. He was pulling people out of bars and talking to them. People that didn't even really want to stop drinking. They didn't know they wanted to stop drinking. They didn't think they could. That's why the only requirement for Alcoholics Anonymous is a desire to stop drinking. That is it. So, to answer your question, how to help someone who's nonchalant about their drinking, tell them your experience with alcoholism. Like I like to show them my scars, tell them about my coma, my crash, my jail visits, the institutions, the loony, the detoxes, the rehabs, the damn near. All right, Mikey, 1 second, I'll be right back. It's been suggested, and I believe it, that only another alcoholic can work with an alcoholic to not get them sober. None of us can get another sober. It is up to the alcoholic to find God and AA. It is up to the alcoholic to let go of his or her best thinking. It's up to the alcoholic to diagnose themselves with alcoholism. This is unfortunate, but it has been proven to be so over history. So, we can't get someone sober. However, we've all heard of Steve-O, right? From Jackass. Steve-O is damn near 20 years clean and sober from alcohol, meth, drugs, all, but mostly alcohol. And the other members of Jackass enacted a California law that states you can bring someone to rehab and make them stay for 3 days. They extended, Steve-O was acting so crazy in the hospital that they extended it to 2 weeks mandatory stay, and it saved his life. So that's what's called an intervention. An intervention is essentially a manufactured rock bottom for the alcoholic. The gift of desperation has been ignited by intervening on the alcoholic's life. This is done usually and traditionally by telling the alcoholic how they've affected you and how you can no longer be in their life. That presents to them another consequence of their drinking. And it might not be the last one. It might not be the end all for them, which is the unfortunate part, but it will go on the pile of straws that will someday break the camel's back and hopefully save that alcoholic's life. So in short, how do you talk to someone who's an alcoholic that doesn't want to listen? You tell them your own experience. When Bill W. was listening to his friend Ebby, or Dr. Bob, I'm not sure, but across from Bill W. sat one of his old drinking buddies who was 2 months sober, and I think it was Ebby. Somebody correct me if I'm going the wrong direction here, but Bill W. was drinking, and when he offered his old drinking buddy a drink, he said, "Nah, I've found a solution, and that solution is to help other alcoholics and to trust in God to clean house." And Bill W. was drunk. However, the message got into Bill W.'s head, and he later went on to not only get sober, but write a book that some people suggest it was divine intervention on mankind itself, the Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I am one of them that believes that this book and program was of a divine nature. 12 steps, exactly the blueprint to get healthy when nothing else on earth can do it. Even physicians direct alcoholics to Alcoholics Anonymous. So if that answers your question, Matthew, I hope it does. If you yourself are an alcoholic, talk to your friend, even if they're drinking, but preferably not. Drunk is farthest away from God and farthest away from the truth when they're drinking. But if they insist to be comfortable, just let them drink and tell them your story. Mercury's sobriety date, 6/13/2003. Congratulations, Mercury girl. That means happiness, joyousness, and freedom has been your thing since 2003. I'm happy for you. Good on ya, ma. I hope that helps Matthew and anybody else that has an alcoholic in their life. There are channels on YouTube that speak of it. You got to be careful who you listen to. This has been one of my philosophies all my life, and thank God it was, because I found the right conduit for information, and it is the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the program and meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous. Some people say I don't like Alcoholics Anonymous because I don't like the people. They act all holier than thou, and they act all like they know anything. First of all, not everybody acts like that. And second of all, it's not about the personalities, it's about principles. But I will tell you that not everybody acts like that. One thing that I told you at the beginning of this stream was, I'm not the guru. I'm not holier than thou, and I'm definitely not an expert. I do believe and hope that I can be somewhat of assistance to bringing you into the realization that you need God and AA in your life if you are struggling with alcoholism and addiction. I personally believe that everybody could use the 12 steps, alcoholics or not. The word alcohol is only in the first half of the first step of the 12 steps, and then it is never mentioned again. Alcohol. Hey, Spicy Peaches put Flea up on the screen. Yeah, Flea is that Spicy Peaches night spicy. Yeah, I'm going to turn in here pretty soon as well, guys. I had a fulfilling day. I hope you did too. Not all easy, but much better without alcohol. Who could have ever imagined it? I'm so grateful. Yes, gratitude, exactly what I'm feeling. I see such a positive change in you, James. I'm so grateful you love the big book. I'm so grateful for the big book. And to say I wish I discovered that it was literally the truth, every single word has to be taken very seriously if you are to remain sober. I wish I knew that. But I don't wish I knew it, because who knows if my life would even be this good if I never was an alcoholic, and if I never was too stubborn, if I never thought my ideas were better than the ideas of the big book. Who knows if I ever would have got to where I am now. The alcoholic needs a rock bottom. The alcoholic needs the gift of desperation. G-O-D God. G-O-D group of drunks. G-O-D God. G-O-D God. G-O-D good orderly direction. Who knows if I would have discovered God if I wasn't an alcoholic. And please don't cringe when I say God. Be open-minded. Honest open-mindedness and willingness. That's H-O-W, how you're going to do it. It does take what it takes, Mercury Girl. Only you can convince you. However, hearing another alcoholic's story can either convince them that second, or you can plant the seed. So don't ever neglect to try to help another alcoholic, because you can get in there. And if you can't, it's not God's time. Don't stress over it. It'll only mess you up. But it does take what it takes. And it took me, it's probably 30 years of alcohol and drug abuse. I'm 43. I started drinking when I was 13, 14, 13. Who knows? But it was one of those. Most alcoholics, in my limited observation and knowledge, discover alcohol and drugs when they hit puberty, when all the troubles of the human condition start kicking in, one of which being sex. Dr. Bob had a saying, beneath every skirt, there's a slip. Speaking on how if you haven't worked the 12 steps and had a spiritual awakening, don't go skirting. Don't go hunting for skirts. Sex is not going to fix you. You know what I mean? It will only hurt you and another person. You're not spiritually fit. Don't go, you know what I'm saying. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. Christy Mercury Girl, Spicy Peaches, it's good to see all y'all. And Hillary May and Michael and Michael L, Matthew L, Michigan Swatch Company, Christy, all y'all. It's very good to see you, and it's very good to be seen. I hope I've said something that can help. I stream every day with addiction recovery and everything in between every day at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the Soberdelic James channel. So hit the notification bell next to the subscribe button if you would like to get notified. I'd appreciate it. Also consider joining the channel. For pennies, you can help support my internet, and you can look at my fish tank every night for the foreseeable future if you'd like. I also have a Patreon and stuff like that, but you guys know the deal. Just explore the page. I hope I've brought to you some experience, strength, and hope today. When in doubt, go to AA. If I had some last words, if I was going to die in a second, it would be something like that. When in doubt, get to an AA meeting. Run, don't walk. Stay until the miracle happens. Another guy relapsed. Another guy picked up a white chip. A white chip is the chip of surrender. Surrender is the most powerful thing you can do. Admitting that you are powerless over alcohol, admitting it is knowledge, and knowledge is power. That's how that works. Some people don't like to admit powerlessness over alcohol. Well, you don't like it because you're thinking too much. AA's done it for you. Just follow the steps. If I had last words, those would be something like that. I think on my tombstone, it might just be, I don't know shit. It's the greatest thing I've ever realized. I don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? There is a God and I'm not it. Maybe I'll write that on my tombstone. I don't know shit. There is a God and wasn't it. All right, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, keep it clean, keep it real, keep doing the damn thing. Peace.